Hi guys, I'm Lynn.
Hey guys, I'm Z, and welcome to another episode of Clueless with LMZ. Unfortunately, Michelle will not be joining us in this episode, but we hope to see her next time. So, in today's episode, we are going to get into when you meet someone, do you spill all the beans of your life or do you play your cards close to your chest?
Yeah, I feel like also we're gonna jump into, do you think what type of privacy do you think when you first encounter do you think you should have when you first encounter a person? Do you think you should tell them your phone address, your phone number, your street address, your mom's name, stuff like that? What is the boundary when speaking to somebody, as well as, keeping things out of context and, just deciding not to speak on things? Does that count as a lie or deceiving somebody in a way, or you're just editing the truth?
Alright, so to jump into it, let us paint a scenario. So in this scenario, you've got two people, and one person tells the retelling of a story, like let's say Little Red Riding Hood, and leaves out the bears, you know, and doesn't switch them with humans or anything, but just leaves out the bears entirely. Just tells the first part of the Little Red Riding Hood. But then the second person goes and retells it as the full story to someone else. Now, who is lying to who in this situation? Is the first person lying to the second person by not telling the best thing because it's the full story?
Mm.
And is the second person lying to the first person basically because they told their full Red Riding Hood story correctly?
No, I feel like a context and perspective is very important because you see one side of a story and then the person sees another side, so it's important to keep like a balance and keep an understanding that sometimes you can view things differently, and doesn't mean the one person has to be wrong and you have to be right, or vice versa. you know so I feel like it's a balance. I think in your reality and their reality, for that one person they were wrong and the other person they were right, so I think it depends on who you are, where you stand, and how you look at things.
But you personally, as person B, for example, would you say that the first person who told you the story without the bears,
Mm.
was lying to you by just keeping it out, or they won't?
No, I don't think they were technically lying to me, or they would be technically lying to me. I think it's more of just like a reserving part of it and letting your mind wander. It's not like I told you something else. I just gave you like a trailer and you decided to make a whole movie on your own. That has nothing to do with me. Or nothing to do with that person. So I don't think it counts exactly as a lie. Maybe you could say manipulation, but not a lie.
I have a question. When you know with flirting and stuff, and how a lot of the time flirting is kind of like actually based off assumptions. Now, when a person assumes wrong, what happens in that situation? Because when you're flirting with someone at first, you're basically quote unquote sending signals,
Mm,
and that other person must now try and intercept
mm.
what those
Signals
signals
are.
mean. Ne? And isn't that basically assumption, especially with strangers?
Yeah.
Isn't that basically the person assuming? Now, what happens if this person assumes you want them to move in this one way,
Mm.
but they move in a different way?
Nothing's perspective. You can't exactly read minds. You can try to read body language. You can try to see from there, ne?
Like, let's say for instance, when you're friends with someone, you're friends with a guy, ne?
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, you and this guy become like real close, so you start getting comfortable with him. Now, oh, guy takes those comfortable feelings of you, hug him more, you chill with him. He takes those as flirting signals.
No, no, no.
Now
On the
that's working off of assumption on the
Yeah,
guy's part.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. No, yeah. I feel like that is assumption. That is assumption. I have a question on that. Do you think if you walk into a relationship or you walk into a friendship, right, with your intentions to get to know this person as a friend, but deep down you know that you wanna mess with them heavily, but then you've already established that boundary that it's not gonna happen, but you're secretly working your way in. You trust. Do you think that's like deceiving, or that's just working smart, or just going quote unquote working with the rule? Do you think it's wrong?
For me, I don't feel like it's wrong as long as a person respects that boundary.
No, but then like you are respecting that boundary in like a reality, you're not overstepping in a way. But you always have that crush and you work in your true agenda, your true intention is to get to this person in a non-platonic way when you walked into the friendship in a platonic way.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit on the toxic side of life. You
Mm,
know, I feel like if that's your intentions from the get go, let a person know that that's your intentions
mm,
from the get go, because this person could be like now budding this friendship with you on their end
mm.
for um just friendship,
Yeah.
lifelong friendship,
Yeah.
or however long, but it's also a thing of friendships is your relationship with this person. However, their true intentions are ain't really your business.
So on that note, ne, I'm gonna have a type of a new question, right? So on the topics that we said we're gonna start to yo the today, the topics that we said we're gonna jump into, one of them is that, do you think that giving lack of context or minimal context, giving half the story to somebody counts as lying and therefore deceiving them?
Like as we said in the beginning of the episode, I don't believe it counts as lying, but it I think it is a manipulation tactic of sorts. It really is used as a manipulation tactic,
Mm.
or just the thing of keeping yourself safe in situations like that. But it is a bit on the why you keeping the truth out,
No,
you
I mean,
know.
like, no, it's not like I'm keeping the truth out. I'm just giving you a partial story. I'm not giving you the whole detailed thing. Like, I could say, okay, now someone walked into my room and took your tablet or something, right? Or I could say, no, I saw Mang Mang come in here, like somebody by name, come in here and take it. That's me lying on them. That's me giving false reality. But I was like, no, I just saw it gone. But I know who took it. Is that me lying to you? Or is that giving you a partial truth?
I feel like that's giving you a partial truth. In that sense of the manner, I don't really find it wrong. I feel like it's nothing of you telling a person information that you feel they need to know,
Mm,
because a person doesn't always need to know everything all at
mm,
once.
yeah.
It's the same like when you're getting to know a friend or someone. You don't need to spill your whole life story to
Yeah,
this
your
person
own
on
love
the
life.
first
Mm.
meet. Like, guys, a
And is it
person must
oversharing?
not a person must not have a lot of information about you from the get-go, because the whole personally for me, the whole one of the strongest points in creating relationships and friendships is finding out those things about a person, rather than it just being spewed at you, because a person will also tell you from their perspective.
Yeah. Do you think that oversharing, like in your first encounter, when you start to make a friend, just start to get somebody, get their vibe and stuff, oversharing, getting their traumas, getting their kinks, their likes, their whatever, you think all in one dump and a go? Do you think that's a red flag instead of taking it slowly and, working, working through it?
Well, personally for me, that is kind of how I move. So I wouldn't say it's a red flag. I feel like it's more of a red flag on how you move about it,
Mm.
you know? And it's more of a red flag on where the friendship goes as well at the time, you know? Because in the beginning, you dump a lot of these things on a person.
Mm.
And then later on in the friendships, you will really find out that it was the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I'll answer on my part. I do think, like, dumping, saying too much in a friend, like a friendly first, platonic, or like whatever encounter, neutral in a way, is a little much, ne? But then it depends if the other person is comfortable with it, And I think another problem is like trauma dumping for some reason. Hey, when I don't know you and you're telling me all these intense things that happened to you. Now I must also process that, and I'm like, I wasn't prepared. When I came to you, I was just looking for chill vibes, and now you're giving me stories like drama on top of drama, sympathy and feeling by someone. When you hear, when you watch a scary movie and you're like, yo, guys, that was like a lot. You have to sit down and be on some process it in a bit. But then, like, with the person you meet them, you hear their whole life story. That's fine. But then you don't need to hear, oh, that one time I puked myself, this and this happened to me. Like, you step into such trust, you step into such boundaries where, okay, I can tell you this, I can tell you this in comfort because I don't mind talking about this. I don't mind hearing this and that. I feel like after that communication has happened, it's better that way.
Yeah, like how much is too much, you know? And it's a thing of how much is too much, ne? And I also want to comment that a lot of people trauma dump with you because they want to get that connection fast.
Mm.
I feel like it's also an effect of the whole dopamine at your fingertips situation with Gen Z. People want to feel that deep connection instantaneously, you know? And I feel like a lot of people have kind of, I wouldn't say forgotten, but have kind of, it hasn't really been leaned on much,
Mm.
that such trust is
Worked.
is worked upon.
Mm.
You don't just give a person this information.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
every person on the street must know what your favorite color is. No, guys. The talking stage needs to be a little bit more, I personally feel like the talking stage needs to be a little bit more reserved,
Mm.
because the whole thing of, even if the talking stage isn't reserved, even if you're having a talking stage with everyone, the
Yeah.
talking stage mustn't be as deep. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry must know that you have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Is another thing about not quote unquote trauma dumping me, but more, yeah, I feel like you could use that word, but like just putting a lot of secrets and a lot of pressure, especially like, oh no, you know not in that way. When someone comes to you and you don't really know them that well and they tell you, oh no, I'm in a bad space, ne? I'm in a bad space or something, and you're like, oh, okay, no, I feel for you, and they're like, you know a little too much. They lean on you too much. Do you think you need to have that boundary, that groundness, that solidness, in order to lean on people like that? Because I feel people tend to like give people their luggage, their baggage too much, and then expect them to be carried in. When like that person is not willing to handle it, it makes them a bad person. And I don't feel like that's fair, honestly.
Yeah, people expect, a lot of people in friendships expect you to have time for their
Mm.
stuff, you know?
Not even like that, ne? I understand having balance, giving your friend one thing, you giving me like, we can talk about that thing. I'm talking about someone you don't know. And they come to you with all their problems and with all these things, they're asking for advice, they're asking what to do, they're asking you for answers. And you don't know them that well, you don't really mess with them now. Are you a bad person for not helping them in that situation?
No, because guys, there's people who do that as a profession. One,
Mm,
therapist. That's
mm,
exactly what therapy is. So
mm,
a person is expecting you to be their therapist first time meeting this person, or you guys are not close like that. One, and then two, even in therapy, you have that first session of the therapist trying to get to know you, you
yeah.
know? And then that's how you end up with situations of, no, so and so ruined my life because they told me to go and so and so. People don't want control over their own lives. That's why
Mm.
they like taking, or a lot of the time, that's why people like wanting to take advice and direction from other people. So that if their life goes to hell, everyone's like, no, it wasn't my fault. A lot of people don't want to be held
Yeah,
accountable.
reliable, accountable, and have that responsibility of that. Okay, no, you did this, and this, and this. It's more of like, no, they told me. Not having that responsibility of like having to deal with what happens after you do something. Either it's smart, it's risky, it's dumb, whatever it is, it can be hectic. But okay, jumping back into our previous topic, name about not disclosing the truth or not disclosing the full truth. Do you like just a solid full answer? Do you think like it's wrong, or it's like a way, or it's worse than lying in a way? Because I
I
feel like it also leans, as you said, more to the manipulation side than the deceiving. But is manipulation deceiving?
manipulation has a tone of deceiving. Personally, for me,
Mm.
manipulation has a tone of deceiving. I don't necessarily think it is deceiving. And withholding the truth, I don't think it's as bad as a lying. I feel like making something up that didn't happen is a little bit worse than not telling something that did happen. But it really does depend on context,
On the
you know.
situation.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I feel like it's also lying if someone you know something for a fact, and someone like, oh, do you know this? And you're like, no, but you know it. That's a lie, ne? But then, if someone asks you something and you're like, dodge the question somehow, that's not lying. That's you kind of like tiptoeing and dancing with the truth in a way, like remixing.
Yeah, it turns to lying when you are directly trying, like, now turning the truth, because if a person asks you, like, let's say for instance you saw your little sister eat chocolate off the table, ne? And then your mom comes and asks you, did you see so and so eat chocolate off the table? And you say no. At that point you're lying because you saw them and you're telling your mom no. But then if you go like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of lying, but not really as well lying, because you're like, I don't know,
Mm.
you know.
Mm.
Or if you kind of like dodge the question somehow and be like, I don't know. Or guys, actually, it's lying. I'm not gonna lie. Lying is lying.
You think so?
Yeah, and they really ain't nothing wrong with lying.
I feel like it depends on the context. If the lie or like a white lie or something doesn't hurt anybody, therefore like doesn't affect them, I feel like it's okay. And it's you can get like not okay, but it's less harsh and less harmful. Versus a lie, like the one thing that I can't handle and I really don't tolerate is lying on people. Like just dragging other people into your things. Like no, this one told me to do this one, to do this thing, and they didn't. Now this person is involved there. They have to be accountable for themselves in a situation they were not involved in, a situation they don't know. Like that's unfair. That's the part I don't mess with. But if it's just like you're drinking a cup of water, what's in the water? What's in the cup? And you're like it's juice. It's not really gonna harm anybody. But I feel like that type of behavior can build up and cause more and more damage and more, destruction of the lives.
Yeah, I catch. No, I honestly feel like lying is lying, because, like, what is the truth? The truth is one's perspective.
Yeah, the truth is honestly perspective in itself.
So, are you telling me that a lie is just not an altered perspective?
No, I feel like a lie.
A lie is an altered perspective.
It depends. If you're just pulling this thing straight out of your ass.
It's still an altered perspective, because from the moment now, personally, because I believe in the multiverse, from the moment you've now said it out of your mouth, it's become a reality. It's
No,
a
but then
reality
like
somewhere.
listen, that doesn't work for everybody in the world. So if you see it that way, you're telling me you could walk inside a store and you could grab chips on the table and you could put it on the counter and you could put money down, you can pick it up again, you can leave and like no. In another verse, I paid for it. In another verse, I for real gave it to you. That's what you believe in.
But
Therefore,
no,
it's right.
no, but listen. That's yes, I agree with that, ne? But that's in that person's perspective. Just because it's that is not in that person's perspective doesn't mean it's the current reality that they're living in. You
No,
know?
no, 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 no. You have to think like logically. You have to think broadly.
No, but like, listen.
Uh,
Honestly, me and you will be talking here like this,
mm,
ne?
mm.
In a
No,
situation.
but I think okay, not like in a multiverse type of way, but I feel like you could see things differently. You
Yeah.
understand from more of okay, you see it like in one, you see it one way in the light, and then in another like you shift it in the shadows different. The tilt is different. It looks like the same thing. Like your hands, you do like a bird with the light and the shadow,
Hmm.
right? It looks like a bird proper in the shadow, but in your hands you can see what's going on. So I feel like it depends on when you're standing on how you can look at it. Therefore, your perspective is different. So if one person looks at it one way, it's not going to be like telephone. You understand? So it depends on the
Yeah.
situation and stuff. It's
Like,
always going to be different. There's always going to be that circumstance of differences and some sort of yeah.
Yeah, like a puppeteer.
Mm, mm.
Like a puppeteer situation. Yeah, so it's a thing of what is honestly the honest truth. And when a person tells you the truth, how do you know that it is 100% the truth?
Okay, okay.
Because in such a situation of stories,
Uh,
you know,
uh,
when a person tells you a situation of what happened, they are telling you the situation as it happened
mm.
from their perspective with the information they had. So is it really, really the full truth, or is it their full truth?
Well, the thing about it, this also comes about lying and deceiving. Do you
Mm.
think when someone is lying to you and they believe it with their whole soul, with their whole heart and everything, and they're lying to you for real if they believe it? But then to you they're lying, but to them they're telling the truth.
They are lying because to me they're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still lying.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Uh.
To them, they're telling the truth. They might be lying to you because you're receiving it as a lie,
Mm.
but they're speaking the truth to themselves,
Yeah, in
and
their
that's
own little reality.
and that's to each their own.
Yeah.
But they must still be held accountable because as much as they're telling the truth, ne,
Mm.
in this reality that y'all are
That we share
sharing,
together,
that y'all are
you
sharing
have to
together,
be
you have to be held
even with our
accountable for
differences, even
the
if we see things differently, Kanti, we're still here together. We must make a plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you and I you're seeing it as the truth in your head, and Mina I'm seeing it as a lie in my head. When we lay down 1 plus 1 plus 2, when we lay down 1 plus 1 plus 2, and it's adding up to 4, we've got to admit that I ain't thought it's adding up to 4. Even
Yeah.
if you think it's adding up to a 6
Okay.
or
Okay.
something like
Okay.
that,
Okay.
you know.
Rounding back to previous topic. When you meet somebody, what do you think is basic information you need to give? Basic, like minimal. Name, maybe where you're from, and hobbies. This I don't think there's any more information that you need from there.
Okay, for me it depends, you know, because if I'm trying to pick up someone, you know, if I'm trying to pick up someone
In what
as
way? Friendship,
in a
friendship.
relationship way,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
in like in trying to get them as a
Mm-hmm.
to know them as a
Yeah, and
person,
as
this is information I feel it must be equally exchanged in some situations, you know, if the energy is there. Name, age is important. I'm not gonna lie to you.
mm.
I personally feel like
In first greeting,
in
first encounter. Yeah,
in
I do.
first encounter, especially in this generation, you know, I feel like it's an important thing. Yeah, I feel like in this generation, it's important because you've got a lot of the younger Gen Zers who look like they grown,
Yeah,
guys.
now facts. Nah. Me, I am myself, but still. They're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 year olds. They be looking like 16, 17, 18. And the thing about people just be getting to it without discussing. So, who knows?
Yeah, and then you've also got them thinking, you've got, as you said, 12, 13 year olds who are rushing on life because a lot of these kids like feel like life is not
Like,
happening
yeah.
fast enough, you
Yeah, life
know.
is gonna come now. But I feel like, yeah, as you said, age is a very important thing to ask on the first encounter. I also think music taste. Music taste is a very important for me.
Music taste is not really top of my list.
Not top, like when I'm talking to them, vibing with you properly, I feel like we would have a type of conversation like, oh, like what type of music do you listen to? Because if you vibe there and we have chemistry there, it's crazy. It's friendship or situationship, and I feel like that's the limit for me because relationships.
Personally, for me, it's a thing of it goes name, age, what are you currently doing with yourself? I don't care if you're working, I don't care if you're a
Ambitions.
student, not even ambitious. What are you doing with yourself?
Mm.
What's happening in your life? You know, when you wake up, what do you go through? I mean, I don't, I want to know the basis of a person before I start now learning the depths of a person. Because what am I going to do with the information of what your favorite color is?
Facts, man. If I don't even know who you are, what am I gonna do with your favorite color? Like, it's not gonna like we can vibe on anything else but that color.
Yeah, but I also don't want you to kind of like dump it all on me. I don't want to be chilling with you and we talking about our favorite painting or something,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden you're telling me a sob story about your mom. That's way too deep on the first date.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's way too deep. When I say I want to get to know you, tell me why you like the color pink. Oh no, I was playing with my sister one day and she was smiling so happy. That's something nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Such
like some sort
things.
of story. You don't have to go too deep. I feel like there's a limit and there's a balance when you're talking about such things,
So
you know?
a good key pointer for me that personally helps with oversharing, ne? Don't tell the information unless asked.
Yeah,
Y-
yeah, 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 yeah. Speak. Don't speak unless asked. Not even like that. I feel like you could speak, ne? But then unless it's specific information, don't give it out unless it's specifically asked for. And I feel like you could create your own boundary as to what that information is, ne? But then as I said, that's like a personal preference type of thing.
Yeah. So it's a thing of information is very important,
And communication,
and
information and communication, yeah.
yeah, information and communication is very important. So be careful about what information you give to people. Just because, just like on the internet, when you put your information out there, people store these information sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So just be careful about what you tell people.
Mm.
But I think that's a good point to just end this episode in.
I feel like we ended this in good energy. We wrapped up, we touched all the topics that we want to touch in. Thank y'all for listening. Y'all should definitely hit us up and give us topic ideas. Let us know how you feel about these episodes. Thanks for listening. If you did make up this far, don't forget to subscribe to our socials. Like smash the subscribe button. I'm not new to this thing still, but put the notification bell if you're listening to this on YouTube. Save and download it if you're on Spotify or whatever. But guys, thank you for listening. See you guys on another episode.
Bye.
Bye.